Hi, this is a quick video on view rules and how they can be used. Views themselves are very useful. For instance, if we look at the incident list of incidents in the system, let's look at self-service incidents. You see 3 columns displayed in its list view. If you open up one of the records, you see a pared down view of the incident because we're looking at the self-service view. If we come down to underneath the incident module and look at, say, open incidents, we see a list view that has a few more columns in it. If we look at a record, we see several more fields displayed. We're looking at the default view here because there's no text given next to the number in the form header. Well, you can control what is presented to the user by use of a view rule. Let's take a look at that. By doing that on a test form that we have here to demonstrate this, we made a simple form is for furniture inventory. And it has a field on it called Design, Modern, Classic, and Pre-1900. And let's say that if Pre-1900 is selected, we want this to present a different view that is for antique furniture. That will be a little different. Because if we come here underneath the context menu and look at View, there's an antique view presented here. And we want that view to be shown. By the way, if you do want to move fields around on the form, change the layout, a view is the way to go instead of trying to use UI policies or client scripts to do something. If you want to do more than just hide or show a field, make it mandatory, or things like that, this is what you would want to do. So how will we do this? Let's right-click on the form header, Configure, and I don't see an option here for view rules. You go to the All option. A list of tabs are here. If you go to the View Rules tab, click New. We'll give it a name. I'm going to show the antique view for pre-1900 records. Over here, we see that the table is already selected because of the way we called this up. The device type is browser. We do have options for mobile and tablet as well. We'll leave that the way it is. You have to type in manually the name of the view you want to use, antique in this case. We'll leave advanced alone, but if we did click advanced, here's where you can use a script to control this. We'll stay with just a non-coding way. You have a typical condition builder with a match conditions of all or any. We'll leave that on all, and we're going to say that if design is pre-1900, we want to show the antique views. Pretty straightforward. Let's click Save. Okay, let's go back to our list of records. Now, first of all, just to demonstrate this, let's get ourselves back into the default view. Now, when I go to look at a record that's modern, we see the normal view, the default view. If we go to a pre-1900 record, we see the antique view. It's working. It says antique view up here, and it has an asterisk next to the name because that is what will happen when a view rule is in play. It will put an asterisk next to the name up there. Also, when a view rule is in play, you will not be able to change the view. We do not have an option. We do not have a view option here where we can select and look at, say, the default view instead. So view rules are good for enforcing that the user look at a record with using a particular view. Now, if we scroll through these records using the up and down arrow keys on the upper right, okay, I'm looking at the next record is pre-1900 using the antique view. That's good. If I scroll down again, I have a classic view, and I'm still using the antique view. What's going on here? Well, to scroll through a list of records like that in a list, you really need to go ahead and make another view rule. If I opened it directly from the list, that same classic record would show the proper view, but we need to fix from scrolling through the record. We'll right-click on a record, go to the All option, And let's add another view rule. Or show default for non pre-1900 records, actually, is what we want. Now, the interesting thing here is that the default view does not have a name. We're going to tell it to go to nothing here because the default view does not have a name. I'll show you that later on in the video. I want this to match our conditions here. We're going to say design is one of modern or classic, then we want to use that view. Now I could say is not pre-1900, but you could do that. Well, actually, I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll talk about either way an issue that would show up. Let's save this record. Design is not pre-1900. We want to use the default view is what this says. Save that. Come back to the list of furniture. Modern record. Correct is using the default view. Scroll down. And pre-1900 antique view. That's good. Same thing with the next record. Pre-1900 antique view. And it works. It takes it back and forth. Classic view using the default layout here. Now, if you have other views you want to use, you won't be able to get to them if you did it this way. So that's something to consider. You are locking yourself in. If you did not notice earlier in the video, we actually had a third option of another view called Other. So you might want to think about that if you're going to lock people out of seeing a particular view when you write these. Well, that's very handy. Let's take a look then at, I said that the default view doesn't have a name. If you go to type in the word views, I guess is the quickest way to get there, down underneath System UI Views, here's a list of views in the system. Notice right up here at the top, default view, empty. There's no name. If I click into it, and it's not an accident, that's the way it is in the system, and you probably don't want to mess with this record. Notice it has like over 4,000 form sections here. This is the default view across all the different forms in your system. I would not erase or mess with this unless you really know what you're doing here. But that is why you're able to type in, well, that's why you kind of have to type in nothing there, I think, for that to work and give you the default view in that case. Have a good day. Thank you.